Chicago. My car has been okay, it's so cold I can't even talk. But my car has been warming up for a good 10 minutes. I'm at the gas station right now getting some gas, but this is just how cold it is in Chicago this morning, y'all. And it ain't even got as cold. This is like still semi-fall to us. No, I'm just playing. It's getting pretty cold, but it ain't that cold yet like how it usually get towards like the January, February time frame when we get into the negative digits. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Rachel Banks and I plan to bring you beauty to beauty. So happy Vlogmas day 11. I am on my way to work as usual. I know I said I didn't want to make this whole Vlogmas a car ride thing, but this is the only time that it's like quiet. We got daylight and I can actually film without interruption. So welcome to Vlogmas in the car. Okay, I'm gonna be doing Vlogmas in the car almost probably the whole time. Of course we're gonna be doing other stuff too, like, you know, unboxings, going to stores, because I need to still do my, I haven't done any Christmas shopping. Now I've been doing some Christmas items collecting, like, you know, when I get certain things and I'm like, okay, I think this person might like it. I've been saving little things here and there for different people, but I have not done my Christmas shopping at all. So that is something that I need to jump on fairly soon. So I probably would do some shopping this weekend or something. Which is, you know, I always wait to the last minute. This is nothing new. I always, this is the story of my life, okay? Rachel waits to the last minute to do her Christmas shopping. Every year, me and my mom will say, next year, I'm gonna start early. And I'm not gonna wait till the end of the year. Now I think my mom is already done, because she just usually give out gift cards now, because everybody grown, except for the little bitty kids. Like, she got a few gifts to give, but she just give out gift cards to the grown folks. Like her, my nephew, my oldest grandson, of course he's gonna get like a gift card and some cash, because she can't shop for him. She don't know what he wants, and she ain't even gonna try. But today is a beautiful day. I got a little bit of sleep last night. I want to say I got almost 5 hours of sleep, y'all. I feel so well rested. 5 hours is a lot for somebody who don't typically sleep well at night. I told you guys that on Monday, no traffic. People don't travel on Monday like that. Tuesdays through Wednesday is the heaviest traffic day, and Tuesday being the heaviest because when people typically travel, especially for work, they usually travel on Tuesdays, and people who travel for vacation usually travel on the weekends. So it's a little bit of traffic this morning. I know it's got to do with travel. In fact, whenever I used to travel, I prefer to travel out on Mondays and come back on Fridays, especially when I worked for Cargill. It was so sweet. I would travel out for Mondays. I would work from the airport, then work when I got to the hotel. Oh no, Mondays I would get up early. Okay, let me take that back. I'm getting that mixed up with something else. Okay, so Mondays I would get up early and go to the airport and then go into the office. Just go into the corporate office that Monday. No, get mine. I didn't even stop at the hotel. I didn't stop at the hotel till the day was over. And I would travel back on Friday and work from home on Fridays. I would get up early Friday morning and travel back and just, quote, work from home. That was like the sweetest, because even when, so I had did this little, I was an SAP super user. Me being an SAP super user wasn't like, okay, become the expert at SAP. It took more than just that. Like, I had to help dump all of the information that was in the old existing system into the new system. And it was a very manual process, because the way that the system was entered into our old database initially, it was entered in, I don't know if it was incorrect or whatever it was, they had difficulty just pulling the data out and just dumping it into SAP. So, and it was only our business unit who suffered this, okay? It was a few business units that went live at the same time. Everybody else's business unit, they data just dumped right clean on into SAP, Okay, no issues. Our data was the only data. And of course, they had multiple, because the other business units were bigger too. So they had multiple super users for their quality group. Whereas for us, because we were a smaller business unit, it was only me. So I was responsible for learning all of SAP, making sure that, you know, when SAP went live, that there was no disruption to the customer. Okay, so that was on me. Plus, I had to take all of the data out of the old system, put it in spreadsheets, organize it, clean it up. So not only just put it in spreadsheets, I was tasked with cleaning it up, because, you know, as you grow as a company, sometimes you have all this old information, you have duplicates, you have just a bunch of stuff that may not be accurate. And when you get ready to put it in a new system, you want to put in the cleanest version of data that you have. So I was responsible for cleaning all this data up. And then, so not only, so it was like specs for customers. And our customers, the idea or the philosophy behind the business unit that I worked for is that the customer is always right. Whatever the customer wants, we give it to them when we want their money, right? So we would make special specifications for customers. We had so many customer specific requirements. So not only did I have to do like the generic, okay, these are the normal specs, then I had to go and make sure that all the customer requirements were accurate, up to date, and cleaned up. And that when we got ready to go live in SAP, because the C of A's will automatically print out with the BOLs, then I had to make sure that, you know, the customer, that the right specs was tied to the right customer. So it was a lot of work on me. So I did a lot of work. Oh my God, it was crazy. And it was only our business unit that I had to go through this. Nobody else, everybody. So during the whole learning SAP before the implementation phases, you know, making the super users subject matter experts, before all of that, well, during all of that, people were like partying, you know, just having a good time on the off hours. Whereas this chick had to be in her hotel room crunching data. Like, it was the craziest thing ever. But the one thing that I can say about the whole thing is that I became, because I've always been kind of shy, I became not less shy, but you know, not afraid to, you know, talk to people, network with people. Like, that experience taught me so much, because prior to doing the super user thing, I used to help with a lot of stuff that was probably outside of what I should have been doing, which was great, because I learned so much in my first company. Oh my God, I learned so much. And then they, you know, they started to change to wanting you to do what your responsibility should have been. You know, it was like, but at that point I had so much knowledge, it wouldn't have made sense to not utilize it. I had so much experience, it wouldn't have made sense to stay and not utilize it. And it was one of them type of places where they kind of know you come. It's kind of like, it was entry level at the time. It was kind of like you come in, you gain all these skills, and then you move on, somebody else comes. You know, it wasn't like, oh, spend the rest of your life here doing this specific job. Now, I can say the way that my initial schedule and my initial job description was set up, it was thebomb.com. So when I was there, we had lost our quality manager. He had left because he had grandkids that lived in a different state, and y'all know how grandkids come first. So his wife was like, I gotta go live in that same state with my grandkids. So he ended up, you know, finding another job in a different state. And so at the same time, the supervisor was going out on maternity leave, and they were losing their most senior quality person at the same time, because she was going off to school in a different state. So that just left me, and I hadn't been there that long, but I had the most experience. So that tasked me with a whole big, it was a lot of responsibility on my shoulders. I had some support from the compliance person at the time. I forgot what her exact title was, but she was part-time. So, and she had been there for a while. At one point she was the quality manager, but then she had kids and wanted to jump to part-time and focus on different areas. So I had her support when she was there, but basically it was just me, and we had 2 new people in the lab that had to get trained up, that I trained up, and we worked us out a schedule that, and job description. So the first thing that we did was, let's organize the workflow. So, we organized the workflow. We called out who would be doing what, who would be back in, who up for what, set schedules so that the business wouldn't be compromised by, being short-staffed at the time. And it worked out. Like, it was really smooth and seamless. People were shocked because they were just expecting the lab to like burn and crash. It was crazy because you had pretty much a new person leading new people who had never had any sort of like management skills, but you pick it up very quickly. And the key is to not get caught up in, I have to manage people or a system. Is just doing what's right, what makes sense for the business, and then everything else seemed to fall into place. But anyways, it worked out to the point where one of the, I forgot what his title was, like the director, or I don't know if he was the, he wasn't the senior VP. I want to say his title was director, because the titles were a little weird because the company that I worked for it's humongous. It's still humongous. It's a multi-billion-dollar company. It's humongous. But they had all of these different business sectors within this big company. So all of it was a part of this big company. All of them had the same name, but it was like different business sector, like and you had almost like a CEO of your business sector, but it was really just the I want to say like the, dang, I can't think of his title either. Oh my gosh, I can't think of any of these titles. But anyways, he was almost like the CEO, but technically it was like a real CEO. But the real CEO didn't even really work out the corporate office. They had their own separate corporate office because it was that big. It was crazy. That's a big company. I worked for a really big company when I first got out of school, but I worked for a small business sector, which was even greater. So I got to experience how big the corporate office was, because it was so huge. It almost didn't even seem like one company because it was ridiculous. But I also got that experience of having to wear many hats and learning responsibilities that I probably wouldn't have been able to learn elsewhere. So with that being said, I was kind of like, I held down the lab. I took over and held down the lab. We established some common ground. Everybody was on the same page. Everybody was happy. So the director at the time, I want to say that was his title, but that's not important. The guy who was the corporate guy over quality came in, and he was very impressed. So he said, well, because at that time it was kind of like shift work, like you had to come in and certain shifts. I think the lab opened up at like 5 or 6, and it closed at like 11 or 12. It wasn't 24. It wasn't staffed 24/7. And in fact, when I had first, no, I take that back. When I first started there, the lab opened up at 5 and it closed at 7. So it was 5 to 7, because I used to work the last shift, the 11 to 7 shift. And it ain't never closed at no dang old 7. You had to stay in support until everything was done. So I definitely would stay a little bit past 7. But when they decided to staff up, they extended the hours a little bit. I want to say to 11. I don't know if they made it 11 then. Let me not get into that because I don't know when they changed it to 11. But anyways, I used to work an in-between shifts. So I used to work like the 8 to 5 just to support both shifts. And especially while, you know, we didn't have any management there. So that was kind of like the role that I had filled. And so he was so impressed that he asked me, he was like, well, what times do you want to come in? What do you want your responsibility to be? Like, you know, just gave me that option. So, you know, we set it up, put it in writing. He agreed with it. So I was the only permanent person there, and it was 2 temps. Okay, that makes sense. And me and one of the girls, we had become really close, and she was real cool. So, and she knew what shift she wanted. The other guy, we didn't have any problems. It was like, you know, just real smooth. Everybody was on board as to what they were supposed to be doing. And so it was kind of nice because that was like one of my rewards for all of my hard work was, you know, of course they gave me like, you know, a nice bonus for a few years. Like, bonus was really nice. Whenever it was time to get like the pay raises, I definitely got my pay raises. But just that opportunity to pick, you know, what times I wanted to come in that type of job, because, you know, it was technically a shift job, but I got to choose what shift I wanted, and most people don't get those opportunities. So I got to choose what shift I wanted. I got to choose what my responsibilities would be. And then later on, you know, after I got adjusted and started doing some things, you know, just got tons of exposure. And a lot of my exposure had to do with, I used to help them with the auditing. So I used to help with the internal and external auditing, training the operators, training staff, revising like SOPs and procedures for the lab, doing things like that. And I did a lot of like handling like complaints and dealing with like vendor relationships, making sure that they specs were right. There's a lot of stuff that I had to do. And then like BOLs, things that I don't even talk about when I have interviews because I forget. And then sometimes I'll talk to somebody whose sole job is just this, and I'm like, oh, I used to do something like that. So we used to have to manage the BOLs, the bill of ladings, for hazardous materials as well as non-haz material. So we had to get formal hazmat training. And it wasn't like, okay, print out this hazardous material and just know what SDS to give or what HMIS sticker. We had to make sure the trucks had the right placards on there. We had to make sure that the terminology that was written was correct. We had to make sure that the SDS was always up to date and getting the right SDS. It was just a lot of compliance work that I had to do at a time where I didn't even realize that I was wearing a hat that most people wouldn't. Like, I was just fortunate enough to get that sort of knowledge and experience. So that was pretty cool. So yeah, that was a little bit of my first job. It was a nice experience looking back on it. You know, sometimes it was kind of rough because it was a lot wearing all those different hats. And the one thing that I can say, when you first start in quality, and especially depending on what role, and I think no matter where you go in quality, whether you are in R&D, work in a lab, working with compliance, whatever you do with quality, you have to gain some thick skin, because the one thing I used to always say when I would train people is that people want what they want when they want it, and they don't understand no. Especially when you work in manufacturing, they don't understand no, or they don't understand this is not my priority right now. Everybody thinks that what they're working on should now become your new priority. And so you have to learn how to communicate in a way that states what the priorities are for your group, but not being rude at the same time, if that makes sense. Like, you have to, because you need people and people need you, so you have to learn how to communicate and work with people. So that was some of the, you know, I got my backbone while I was working there. Got my thick skin while I was working there. Learned how to negotiate and network while I was working there. And all those little things you take for granted, you don't even realize all of the experiences that you are gaining until it's time to either express it to a new company when you have interviews, or when it's time to utilize it at a new company. It's like, oh my gosh, I gained. Or when you meet other people who are kind of in your field and you can see that they don't have the same experience, you're like, oh wow, you know, I thought everybody did this. You know, you only know what you know. We could be more. So my phone was being so disrespectful. I think I had too much stuff saved on my phone, so it just stopped recording this morning when I was getting deep into what it was I did with my first job. Just getting real sentimental with everything that's going on with my first job, my second job, and now my current job, you know. And I figured that, you know, if in any way I can share my story and it helps someone else, you know, with their career path, especially with quality and having a degree in chemistry, then that will be awesome. But anyways, I had a very good day today. I'm tired though, because I didn't get off work till late, y'all. I didn't get off work till like 6:30. So I'm tired. So we just made it in the house. I'm about to feed these kids, feed myself. Okay, guys, so I was going to do my FabFitFun unboxing tonight, but a sister girl is tired. She is so tired. So I am going to do it on tomorrow's Vlogmas. That will be awesome. So I'll open it up tomorrow. We'll do the unboxing and see how that goes. All right, so thank you all for tuning in once again to Vlogmas Day 11. Make sure you subscribe, share, like, all those beautiful things. And then to all my existing subscribers, guys, oh my gosh, I appreciate your support. Thank you so very much. And I will talk to you all tomorrow. Bye.